Hello YouTube, my name is Matt and welcome to JNF Simulations. Today we're going to be reviewing the CLS Boeing 767-300ER. Just want to start out by saying it's made by CLS, which is Commercial Level Simulations. They're a company that makes FSX add-ons, obviously. Today we're at TNCM, which is St. Martin. Scenery by FlyTampa. Today we're going to be doing some cool things with this plane. We're just going to go out and do a traffic pattern, come back and focus on the characteristics of the plane in all stages of flight. I'm probably going to end up doing this more now because I want to show what the plane is like in everything, rather than just saying, oh, it's like this on departure, which is what I've been doing. I think it's important to show all of it. Basically, I want to start out by saying this plane's a very nice quality plane. We're going to start the pushback here just so we can expedite this video because I don't want to be rambling too much is what I tend to do. This aircraft, and the real aircraft, was actually first shipped off in 1982 to United Airlines in September of 1982. It's an old plane, as you can see by, it's shown by its some of its steam gauge. We'll go to the pushback view right here. It's reminiscent of the old days. Something very interesting is it's a hybrid, sort of. It doesn't quite have all steam gauge, but it doesn't quite have all glass. It's a very interesting hybrid between both of these types of aircraft, and I think it's fun. It's very fun to fly with both of those types of equipment. So we're going to taxi out to runway 09, right behind this Air France A340-300. I'm just going to talk about this aircraft a little bit. This aircraft is a long-range, wide-body airliner, and it acts as such. It's a very heavy plane. It takes a little bit of power to get going. Unlike the Avro RJ, which is what Jason did last night in his video, did a very good job on that. I thought it was great. And you guys thought it was great too, so that's positive. Good airplane, got it today. I did quite a bit of flying with it today, and I have to say it is fantastic, and you should buy it. Listen to him and buy it. This plane is definitely a high-quality plane. If you have ever seen the Boeing 757, you'll know that, and you'll see that the cockpits are pretty much exactly the same. This was supposed to be a 757 variant, or it was probably, I don't know if it was the other way or what, but they're supposed to be variants of each other, and then it turned out to be separate aircraft because companies turned out that they wanted this type of aircraft, and this is quite a bit longer range than the 757. They're about 5,000 nautical miles in it, whereas the 75 has about 3,000. Go another 2,000 nautical miles, which can get you pretty far. So we're just gonna wait till this for this 340 to depart, and then we'll go right behind it. Just want to focus on right now the trim. It's pretty high trim. We're gonna focus on the outside model for a little bit, just to kind of get an idea of how well CLS did this plane. I think it looks fantastic. Now, I don't know how you can argue. There's only one flaw I found with it, which is the engines. The fans could look a little better, but definitely as far as like the engines and how they move, how the middle moves depending on what power you're setting on. As you can see, they move differently when you get high power and low power. I think they did a great job with that. The plane, the livery is beautiful, definitely. And you can see like the modeling between. Look at the difference of the modeling between that baseline A340 and this 767. The clear difference, and I definitely think it's important to realize that that airplane is an add-on as well, and is a lot less quality and modeling as far as the geometry as this is a very nice polished plane, and it's a ton of fun to fly. And I'll just do a few rounds around this so you can see the actual aircraft, and it's a very fun to know because it's cool. We're just going to go line up and wait now. See hopefully the tail end of this departure. Speed up a little bit so we can actually see it. Kind of want to show it to you guys. Traffic add-on is Ultimate Traffic 2. Both Jason and I used Ultimate Traffic 2. It's a good traffic add-on. It has real scheduled flights, which is actually a very cool twist with that add-on. It actually has scheduled flights. It goes through all the schedules and says, this is what we're there's this airline scheduled here. Okay, we're going to put this aircraft here. It's going to fly here. It's a little bit automated. It's pretty robotic, but it gets the job done. It'll have you waiting in lines to depart at Heathrow or JFK for a few minutes, which is realistic, and it's cool because it brings a new amount of realism to the table. We're just going to do static takeoff. Like I said, you can see how these are all like a bunch of the steam gauges as far as the vertical speed and altitude and such. Very good aircraft, very similar to the Quality Wing 757 in terms of simplicity. Both of which have a very simple FMC to operate. For people that aren't necessarily extremely familiar with FMCs, such as maybe like a novice simmer, so that doesn't really know too much about it, but wants to start with the wide body. And as you can see, it just lifts off the ground with ease and maintains a huge angle of attack with a good climb rate and gaining speed. It's a very fast plane. As you can see, we're climbing to 1,000 feet now in under 10 seconds. It's a very powerful plane. And it was back in the day when it was made, it was top of the line. It still is a very nice aircraft, and Boeing did a great job on it. But in the time that it was created, it was the most technological advanced aircraft that they had ever seen. Because it was created in 1983, most of the aircraft by then were still steam gauges. I mean, they only phased out like 727s by like 1990s, which is like when I was born. So these aircraft have been around for a while, and they've really revolutionized the way we do things in commercial aviation. It's no longer steam gauges. Sorry about that patch. They're no longer all steam gauges anymore. They're all glass cockpits, which was revolutionized by this aircraft. One of the first ones to switch over to the entire glass cockpit thing, and they did a great. I mean, it's not entirely glass cockpit, obviously. You can see that, but they did a good job at it. Boeing did a great job at it, and you can see that quality. Not quality wings. I almost thought this was 757. CLS does an amazing job at this. CLS has other aircraft that you should check out: 747-100, 747-200. And then also some other notable things such as the A340 and A330, which are not as good quality as these aircraft. Just go out to the outside again. As you can see, the wing flex, when we do certain things and maneuvers, as we do that, you can see how the wing flex changes. You see that? Look at the wingtips. I'll do another maneuver right now. Look at the wingtips. See how they change shape based on what we're doing. See that? It's a very realistic add-on as far as flight dynamics and characteristics, and I think it should be treated as such. It's not PMDG in development, not in quality. In quality, it's a very nice plane. The thing that people in the simulation community have to do is start associating quality with PMDG. PMDG makes amazing aircraft. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are other add-on companies that make fantastic aircraft with fantastic realism and fantastic quality. Like I said, this is not as realistic just due to the FMC, and that was definitely on purpose. I don't think CLS tried to make an extremely realistic add-on, just due to the fact they wanted to reach out to more people that may not be as familiar with these add-ons. The problem is that if you go into PMDG and you start with PMDG style aircraft, you're not going to know where to start. You're going to have to read a bunch of manuals and figure out what you're doing, and yes, that's fine, but it's tedious. It's much easier just to start out with a simpler aircraft, learn what everything means, and then graduate to a much higher complexity aircraft that are both equally fun to fly. Something to remember about this aircraft is it's not as complex, but it's just as fun to fly. It's a different type of add-on. It's not meant to be a super complex add-on. It's meant to be a super fun add-on, and it does that fantastic. It's a very fun plane to fly. It flies like an RJ. It flies like an RJ. I mean, it sincerely flies like an RJ, and it feels like you're flying a RJ. It doesn't feel like you're flying a heavy 350,000 pound aircraft that can fly 5,000 miles. And the thing is that it has that versatility, yet it doesn't feel like it. So it's a very amazing plane at being able to accomplish its mission. We're just going to move you down here. And I think you guys should definitely check this aircraft out. Like, as my rating, I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. It's a fantastic plane to fly. Sorry about that. I have a my joystick. Sometimes when it gets disconnected, it goes all wild, and you just have to pause the game so that we're not having any malfunction on. And unfortunately, we might crash into the sea, so we don't want to do that. And as you can see, there's something weird I just noticed. That little patch of white on the front of the nose when the nose gear door is. I thought that was kind of interesting. But this plane has the ability to get pretty slow and act very nimble. You see, it's very nimble and has good response to control inputs. It's coming up on the runway here. And it's a very powerful plane. Definitely has power. We're going to try going a little bit lower. I usually start higher in St. Martin just to avoid hitting the people on the beach, but I want to try to go a little bit lower, trying to get some cool shots while I'm coming to the beach. I definitely think you should check this aircraft out. Like I said, it's 10 out of 10 as far as what you're getting. You have to realize that I'm not saying that like a system. It's not a system simulator. So as a system simulator, it doesn't get anything. It's not a system simulator. It's an aircraft simulator. It simulates the aircraft. Like if you go into Caranado's Grand Caravan, yes, it has amazing Garmin 1000. But you're not actually going to use the Garmin 1000 like you might actually if you were actually flying that aircraft in real life. You're going to fly the plane visually hand flying. You're not going to fly it by autopilot. It's a Grand Caravan. Why would you fly it by autopilot unless you're actually doing it in real life? That's why I'm saying like you're not going to get that with this aircraft. You're going to get fun hand flying. You're going to get fun approaches. You're going to get fun takeoffs, departures, some fun stuff to be able to do with your hands. I know that I don't like flying ILS approaches if I can help it, because I want to be if I'm purchasing an aircraft and I'm purchasing a flight simulator, I want to be able to fly the aircraft as much as possible during this period of time. I'm not going to be sitting here plugging in ILS, doing VORs. I'm going to be hand flying as much as possible. That's kind of where flight simulation for me gets its character. Its character is in me actually doing it, so I can feel like a pilot. So when I'm hand flying a 767. I feel like I'm actually hand flying a 767 rather than, just sitting here and monitoring as it auto lands itself. I don't want to do that. It's a video game. Why would I add that it's just unnecessary, unnecessary to do that when you're flying in a game. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
This aircraft does a really good job at retaining its lift. So often you get a little bit of like little balloons, because it retains its lift very, very nicely, which may make people want to come in a little bit slower, so you don't have to worry about little balloons. But I think it's good. It allows you to do greasers. It's a very cool aircraft. It's really easy to get like really, really low landing speeds on it, because it has such big wings and it has such a huge amount of power. Especially when it's so light like this one is, 25% fuel. It's a light plane. Stuff like that make it fun to fly. I'm just going to go on this grass a little bit here on accident. I had to do it either side because it has a very large turning radius for some reason. I guess maybe it was a design flaw. Maybe it actually does in real life. I can turn the 747 on this runway no problem, but I'm having trouble like using differential braking to get this aircraft on keep it on the runway and turn it around even using the turning bays. As we're just taxiing back to the gate now, I'm just going to say some finishing words about this plane, and basically I think you should get it based on what and why. I definitely think you should get this aircraft. It's a completely new, different feel to it. Obviously it's not a new plane, but to me it feels different. It doesn't feel like a PMDG aircraft. It doesn't feel like a Quality Wings aircraft. It feels like a CLS plane. It feels like it's something new. It doesn't feel like everything else. It's not following the trends of popular trends of simulation right now. It's very good on the frames. It's very good on the frames, even though it's a beautiful plane. Its hand flying is amazing. All these things contribute to its just its satisfaction factor. I get a lot of satisfaction from flying this plane. You know, just even like just starting up doing some traffic bounding, I'm getting a lot of satisfaction from doing this. It doesn't feel like I'm flying a jumbo jet. It feels like I'm flying a regional jet, which is unrealistic. But I obviously I've never flown, so I don't know. But it's very fun because it's like I'm flying these largest planes, but I get to fly them like they're regional jets. And I get to fly them like they're, you know, Mustangs, Cessna Mustangs, stuff like that. And I think that's what keeps this fun about this plane. I'm not rating it on its realism. If you want the realism, I don't know. I cannot give you realism factor. I've never flown any of these aircraft. If I ever give you a review of like a Cessna 172 trainer, then yes, I could tell you it's realistic or not because I actually fly one in real life. But I cannot give you a realism factor of a 767. I don't know. Like, I sincerely don't know. All I'm saying is that if you want a fun aircraft to fly, this is a very fun aircraft to fly. It's pretty much what we're basing it off of. If you want something to spend your money on that's fun, go for this aircraft. It's a lot of fun to fly. It's beautiful handling, does well, has good FMC. You know, maybe it's not for the most complex user, but it's definitely for the less complex users, and can be for all of them. I am an avid simmer. I sim, you know, I'm a captain on the Boeing 747-400 using the PMDG, and I fly long routes, and I fly complex routes with SIDS and stars and airways and, you know, all these things. So it's an equilibrium between both of them, and I think it does a very good job of doing that. But that's all for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. After this, we're just going to do some shots of that landing again. Just see from different point of views and see how pretty the plane looks and how well it runs. That's all though for me. Thank you for watching JNM Simulations. It means a lot to us. You know, commenting, telling us that our videos are good. It makes us want to do it even more. So we appreciate it so much. We appreciate your support, and we hope that we can grow this channel together into a successful community in which we can all share our flight simulation content. But that's all from me. Thanks, this is Matt, and have a nice day.